Wow, hi everybody. I'm back with another ASMR video. Wow. The first one overall was taken pretty well. So, you know what that means? I may be a little sniffly and stocked up still. I was sick. So, that's why I haven't recorded in a while. I was working a lot. I'm a server in a restaurant and I worked quite a bit. I worked a lot over like Christmas time and then I got sick on Christmas. For Christmas present, I got sick. But anyways, now I'm going to be recording stuff again because I am healthy again. Today we're going to be filming something where I just like show off different books I have. I like books a lot. This is some of them. And there's some down there. But I have like a whole box in my closet. I just picked books out that I think like are cool. Some of the books I have read, most of them I haven't, because I will donate my books after I am done reading them. I only keep like specific ones that I really, really like. Because I'm like, they're some of my favorites, or I just think they're like cool and unique. I will do that as well. I'll be like, oh, I really like this book, so I'm gonna keep it. I'll read like the backs as well, and I'll just talk about each little thing a little bit. There are these kids upstairs, and they never stop stomping. I don't like them at all. They make me so angry because they don't stop stomping. So, a couple of videos that are going to be coming out after this one. I'm going over some of my books. If you guys want more book stuff, let me know. I'll show you guys more books. But I'm also going to show off all of my Squishmallows. And I have a lot of Squishmallows. An unhealthy amount. I like collect them. I really like them. They're nice and soft and cuddly. And then another one, it's going to take a while to record, is all the movies that I watched in 2023. That one's going to take a long time. Just because I watched a lot of movies in 2023. So now we're going to get on into the video. The first one, I don't know how to read any of it at all whatsoever. So it's in another language. One that I do not speak. The copyright says 1998, but I don't think I lived in this country during that time. It is a Pokemon thing book, but it's all in German. I do not speak German. I lived over in Germany. I used to speak German apparently, like a third grade level essentially, or like what would be equivalent to like a third grader. Oh. So yeah, I think third graders are like 9, 10. I think no, yeah, you're like 9. So my understanding of ages and school is not correct because my like transcripts were messed up when they brought them from Germany to the US. That happened. I ended up having to get held back a year. So I don't know ages because I was always older than everybody else. Anyways, this is what the book looks like. Look at it says Ash. I know that word. That's Ash Ketchum. I love Pokemon. I've always loved Pokemon. I have played every single game, pretty much. I do want to go through and play them all, just because I want to like rank them, but I want to play them all to make sure. Because I mean, I haven't played Scarlet and Violet, or Black 2 or White 2. My lights aren't plugged in. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to restart this video because of that. But my lava lamp is now plugged in. So it'll warm up and it'll start moving soon. Anyways, Actually, it's kind of cold in here, so I don't know how soon it'll be. My lights are now plugged in, and it's weird. They flicker on camera, but they don't actually flicker in real life. Anyways, so we're gonna look through some of these pages just because they got pictures. This is the map in the book. Look at that. Gosh, I love the Gen 1 and Gen 2 like photo concept art style. I always really like the colors. Did you actually know a lot of the colors were not properly like translated? Like the scans of his art was not properly translated in color wise. So a lot of the colors were actually incorrect that we saw in the concept arts. And so they're going through and they're like fixing them. Oh, look at, yeah, see, this is the art I'm talking about. The colors were not apparently accurate, like fully accurate for some of them. Gengar. Gengar is one of my favorite. But my favorite of all time, number one, is Lugia. I love Lugia. I've always loved Lugia. I've loved Lugia since like the Pokemon movie. Pokemon movie 2000, I believe. Yeah, that one. I loved it. I really liked him a lot, and I just liked his voice and his character. I also really like Entei as well. Again, loved him from the movie. That's also like my favorite Pokeball out of the entire series is the Crystal Ball from those movies. I absolutely loved those Pokeballs. I thought they were really, really cool. But then Gengar would be my favorite, like, non-legendary, if I had to pick. Yeah. Look at that. Here's some more. I'm just like going through randomly and just finding some pages. And this is when Pikachu was still a chunky boy. He's lost weight. If you can't tell, Pikachu's gotten thinner. Kabutops. Kabutops is so cool. He's like, I just really like Kabutops. I think he's just really cool. And he's one of the best fossil Pokemon in general. Such a good design. Such a good design. There's Arcanine. I really like Arcanine as well. I think Arcanine's pretty cool. Kangaskhan. Poliwag. And Poliwhirl. What are those names? I don't know how to pronounce those names at all. That's what Poliwag's name looks like in German. That's crazy. Mewtwo. Right there. That's how you spell Mewtwo. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I've had this book for a really long time. I love this book. It's one of my prized possessions that is destroyed, but I love it. It's very special and near and dear to my heart. So I keep it safe inside of a box in my closet normally, actually. So my first like storybook I ever owned, like the one I read, it was a chapter book or whatever. I still have it. I loved it growing up. I read it multiple times. It's very well loved. I wrote many, many book reports on this particular version. Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. I'm terrible at names and words I don't know. This is Black Beauty. I think everyone kind of knows this classic. It is a very well-loved book. It has been damaged, destroyed, but yeah. So this is the complete and unabridged version. So there's a distinction by, what grade was it? 4th grade reading teacher told me so. Yep. She was from Pittsburgh. Lived in North Carolina at the time, and she she just thought it was so funny how like people in North Carolina would pronounce words. I don't live in North Carolina anymore, but over in the part that I lived in, instead of saying a stop sign, they would go stop sign. They just added an H at the end of the S. So I go, oh my gosh, I got hit at a stop sign yesterday. That's full on how they would pronounce things. And it was really funny. I actually quite like North Carolina. It was a nice place to live. I miss it sometimes. But I also just think it's because I really don't like Florida. I'm trying to move out of Florida. I can't do Florida anymore. It's too hot. It's too hot. I don't like it. There's too many bugs. I don't like Florida at all. Now back to the book. So, Black Beauty. Through the eyes of Black Beauty, we observe the actions of human beings. The gallant horse is sold to many types of people. Some are good masters who treat beauty with compassion and tenderness. Others are bad masters who do not care if beauty has enough food to eat or is too tired to be ridden. Written in the 19th century, Anna Sewell, Black Beauty's success vote. 19th century, Anna's Black Beauty succeeded in alerting many people to the cruel treatment of horses. This classic remains one of the most popular animal stories ever written. I love this book. I cried every time reading it. I haven't read it since I have been an adult. So I probably would actually get some new stuff out of it. So I even considered rereading it. So one of the reasons I even opened up the box in my closet to look through books was because I was like, maybe I should reread it. So here we are. So a book that I have tried to read on multiple occasions, I have not been able to physically get through. I think I'm going to just have to find an audiobook and listen to it when I'm in the shower, because I think that's the only way I'm going to get through this book. I tried. I really like the cover. I think the art's really pretty. It is damaged, but it's okay. Lord of the Flies. I tried to get through Lord of the Flies. It's a very hard book to get through. It's like nothing happens at all. Like nothing's been happening. It was like halfway through the book, and I felt like nothing was really happening. But anyways, Golding's iconic 1954 novel remains one of the greatest books ever written for young adults and an unforgettable classic for readers of any age. Okay, yeah, sure. At the dawn of the next World War, a plane crashes on an uncharted island, stranding a group of schoolboys, at first with no adult supervision. Their freedom is something to celebrate. This far from civilization, they can do anything they want. Anything. But as order collapses, as strange howls echo in the night, as terror begins to reign, the hope of adventure seems as far removed from reality as the hope of being rescued. I will probably end up listening to the audiobook. I will hope that the audiobook will work better. Hopefully it's not too long. So the next is actually 3 books. The Hunger Games. We have the Hunger Games. We have Catching Fire. And we have Mockingjay. I actually thrifted all 3 of these. I love when I thrift things. Makes me happy. I really liked the series. The series was quite good, actually. I tried to read The Hunger Games back in middle school. I was not able to. High school, sorry. I read it back in high school. I just couldn't get through it for some reason. But I reread it. I read it, I'd say 2 years ago now. 2.5. It'll actually be 3 years in June this year. So about 2.5 years, I think. But it's enjoyable. I really liked it. It's actually a very strong story that I think anybody of any age would enjoy. I think it's a young adult because of the characters it follows. But if you change the ages of the characters, the story I really don't think would be that actually affected in too big of a way. Other than obviously like the school, but like I feel like the importance of the story and like the oh my gosh of it, like the kind of scare of it, definitely a little more intense when it is kids. I will say the books are much more graphic in a sense for the books. And I think that's a big reason why. I feel like the books would translate better to kind of any age group. I really like the story though. I think the story is very good. It's actually quite a complex story. I feel like if you read it when you were younger, you should actually give it a try and reread it. I always feel like that's really important for like particular stories, that you should re-experience stories. I feel like people that are like, oh, I never read you something again. No, I feel like you should. I feel like it's important for a lot of people. Like every couple of years, I rewatch actually Avatar: The Last Airbender. This year actually will be a rewatch year because every time I get something different out of it, and every time it actually affects me more and more and more and more. I like Uncle Iroh more and more every single time. Uncle Iroh was always my favorite character. Actually, my senior quote in high school was from Uncle Iroh. I also did multiple art projects actually related to Avatar: The Last Airbender as well. I feel like Hunger Games is another one of those kind of stories that you should reread. So. Winning means fame and fortune. Losing means certain death. The Hunger Games have begun. In the ruins of a place once known as North America lies the nation of Pan Am, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. The capital is harsh and cruel and keeps the districts in line by forcing them all to send one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games, a fighting to the death on live TV. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen regards it as a death sentence when she steps forward to take her sister's place in the games. But Katniss has been close to death before, and survival. For her, it is second nature. Without really meaning to, she becomes a contender. But if she is to win, she will have to start making choices that weigh survival against humanity and life against love. There's actually oh my gosh, okay. So the 3 blurbs at the back of this is so... When did this come out? When did Hunger Games come out? Does it have the copyright date in it? Because normally that'll tell. Yeah, this is also from a library. I don't know what library, not one I've ever seen. Anyways, the 3 blurbs. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the names right away. I'm going to just read them one at a time. A violent, jarring speed rap of a novel that generates nearly constant suspense. I couldn't stop reading. Stephen King. That's crazy. All right, the 3rd one. I'm skipping the 2nd because the 2nd is brilliantly plotted and perfectly paced. John Green. The next one. I was so obsessed with this book. The Hunger Games is amazing. Stephanie Meyer, author of the Twilight Saga. Now that is peak. I'm just going to read just the first of the Hunger Games, like backs. Because I do think everyone should read it. I think it's a pretty important series. So the next book, this book. Also, please make sure you check out trigger warnings for like everything. Like, I can't remember all of them and whatnot. Yeah, but check the trigger warnings because some of these a little messed up. Like, My mom really loves the movie. I grew up watching the movie. And because of that, I saw the book at a thrift store and I bought it. And I was like, I'll read it. And I decided to read it. And when I tell you this book, what is this book? Like, this book was insanity to me. It was so confusing. I was like, what? And like, not confusing, and like, I didn't understand what was happening. No, I knew what was happening. I was like, what? What is happening? What's it called? What is it called? Spoiler. Slight spoiler alert for the book. The main character in this book is dead. She was murdered. Okay? There was a boy that she really liked. Okay? Well, that boy and that girl also had another friend. This friend is gay. She's a lesbian, okay? That's important. Tell me why. Tell me why. In this book, this girl, the dead one, possesses her lesbian's friend's body. This girl possesses her lesbian's friend's body and sleeps with the boy that she had a crush on because those two were still friends. And they came back from college and they slept together. Which she was possessing her body, and he knew that she was possessing her body and that his friend was like a lesbian. When I tell you, I was reading that part of the book and my face was this the entire time. Concerned. But this is actually quite an emotional book. It is a good book though. Anyways. Also, Miss Sally Brown. This is not your book anymore, ma'am. It's my book now, Miss Sally Brown from 2002. Sucks to suck. Anyways, here's the description. When we first meet Susie Salmon, she's already in heaven. As she looks down from the strange new place, she tells us, in the fresh and spirited voice of a 14-year-old girl, a tale that is both haunting and full of hope. In the weeks following her death, Susie watches life continue without her. Her school friends trading rumors about her disappearance, her family holding out hope that she'll be found, her killer trying to cover his tracks. As months pass without leads, Susie sees her parents' marriage being contorted by loss, her sister hardening herself in an effort to stay strong, and her little brother trying to grasp the meaning of the word gone. As she explores the place called heaven, it looks a lot like her school playground with the good kind of swing sets. There are counselors to help newcomers adjust and friends to room with. Everything she ever wanted appears as soon as she thinks of it, except the thing she wants most, to be back with the people she loved on earth. With compassion, longing, and a growing understanding, Susie sees her loved ones pass through grief and begin to mend. Her father embarks on a risky quest to ensnare her killer. Her sister undertakes a feat of remarkable daring, and the boy Susie cares for moves on, only to find himself at the center of a miraculous event. The miraculous event is sleeping with his lesbian friend who's currently possessed by the dead girl that he had a crush on. Oh, what the fuck? Anyways, so yeah, this book is a mess. This book is Misery by Stephen King. I really actually liked this book quite a bit. It's a good book. It's a good book. I would read like 5 to 7 pages and I have to set it down. This book gave me so much anxiety. I don't have it, but another book I read by Stephen King called The Outsider. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyways, so I have a lot of trigger warnings for this book. I know that much. So, best-selling novelist Paul Sheldon has has finally met his biggest fan. Her name is Annie Wilkes, and she is dismayed to discover Paul's plan to kill off Misery Chastain, the heroine of his beloved series. Annie is more than a rabid reader. She is Paul's nurse, tending his shattered body after an automobile accident. She is also his captor, imprisoning him in her isolated house, where no one knows he is. Annie wants Paul to write his greatest work, just for her. She has a lot of ways to spur him on. One is a needle, another is an axe, and then there's the blowtorch. Writer of the Bram Stoker Award for Best Novel, a classic film starring Academy Award winner Kathy Bates, and recently adapted for the stage starring Bruce Willis and Laurie Metcalf. Misery is one of Stephen King's most brilliant and formidably unnerving books ever. So I will say the movie, not as good as the book. If you wanted like it to be like accurate towards like kind of the books like at all, in a sense, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's that. If you wanted to be accurate towards the books whatsoever, you're not going to be getting that here. Like, I wouldn't say not whatsoever, like not as much. I don't know, they took some of my favorite parts of the book out. It was really sad. Like the whole like ending part, essentially. The whole like walking around and seeing here, like it was so good. And they took that out of it. Stupid. Dumb. I didn't like that book. Yeah. It's heavy. It is the complete tales and poems of the Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah. We love horror books, if you can't tell. So this book, oh my gosh, I love it so much. I do want to get the H.P. Lovecraft, because I want to read H.P. Lovecraft's work. I also do want to read this entire book. Imagine. Wait. I also like the Gilded Edges. I also looked this up. I have to Google it. I need to see if Edgar Allan Poe is like open for anyone to read. Because if he is, I can read this, and the YouTubes will not get mad at me. Because Mickey Mouse is going to be free this year. Mickey. 2024. Mickey horror movie. Like that one guy that did the Winnie the Pooh one, which apparently was terrible. Anyways, I really like this. It's just I like the way the book sounds. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I'll see it in post. Oh, I literally did not cut my nails purposely so I could tap on things for these videos I'm filming today. I don't know if that's any good or not. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I could read it, but it would not be good because the way that he wrote would not compute in my little brain. I am not the smartest person in the world, but I'm also not the dumbest. I like to try to learn, and then when I don't understand things, I ask people that are more knowledgeable than me, or I ask people to help me understand. I ask for help. I ask for help all the time. I be asking help. Slight inconvenience. Help. Help me. Help me. I do that at work all the time. When I'm serving tables and I'm like having a hard time, I'm like, help. Somebody. Help me. Next book I need to read. My dad bought it for me for my birthday one year and I still haven't read it. It's called Night Film. Night Film. Night Film. And it is like, it's like, this is like how it's like the chapters like just like sometimes randomly end in like the middle of a page. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Stupid. I'm trying to find it. 1 second. I just saw something that was crazy. Blood said that. Like right here, look, chapter 89 just ends in the middle of the page. But also, this book has like, you'll have like web searches and stuff, things like that. So there's that. I can't really like tell you what the book's about because I don't have the dust jacket, but I'll tell what I remember. This like girl like dies in a really mysterious way. She was the daughter of this like cult classic movie guy. Like he was a director. He was like really crazy and weird or whatever. And she dies in like a really weird, mysterious way. And this dude is trying to figure it out. He's a journalist, I think, if I remember correctly. But I don't have the desk cover. There's actually more books in this series that I want to get. I think there's two or three more. Because I quite like the structure of this kind of books. Illumini, something like that. But again, it's like mixed media. You have like security footage, like analysis, and then you have like just like regular story. It's really cool. It's a very unique story. This story made me bawl my eyes out. I also had like an existential crisis over this story. It's like the wildest things that just get to me sometimes. Anyways, this morning Katie thought breaking up with Ezra was the hardest thing she'd planned to do today. This afternoon, her planet was invaded. The year is 2575, and two rival mega corporations, redacted and redacted, that's wild, are at war over a planet that's a little more than an ice-covered speck at the edge of the universe. Too bad nobody thought to warn the people living on it. Enemy fire raining down on them. Axis, Cade, and Ezra, who are barely even talking to each other, are forced to fight their way onto the evacuating fleet with an enemy warship in hot pursuit. But the warship is the least of their problems. A deadly blank, redacted, has broken out and is mutating with terrifying results. The fleet's AI, which should be protecting them, may actually be their enemy. And nobody in charge will say what the redacted is going on. As Katie hacks into a tangled web of data to find the truth, it's clear only one person can help her bring it all to light. The ex-boyfriend she swore she'd never speak to again. That's so crazy. I loved it. There's two more that I want to read. Yeah, I got it for $6 when I bought it for Ever Got Books A Million. I think I bought this in like 2017, 2018, 2017, because no, I bought it 2018 because I moved the year I bought it. I remember. Okay. So I had more books than I thought. I thought I could get through more books than I thought I actually could. So I'm actually going to go edit this video now. Anyways, everybody, thank you all so much for joining me for this video. I hope to be recording the next ones very, very soon. And I can't wait to record those as well. Again, hopefully you all watch. Hopefully this video